Forget the F-35 hype. We're talking about Russia's most dangerously overlooked combat machine, a fighter jet that clawed its way back from a canceled Cold War blueprint into a formidable multirole killer designed to dominate the export market. This is the Mikoyan MiG-35, NATO's fulcrum-f. It looks like the old MiG-29. That is the deception. Under the skin, you're looking at double the internal. Fuel, a staggering 6,000-hour lifespan, 5th-generation AESA radar, and a $20 billion export failure in India that sealed its domestic future. The real question isn't whether it can fight an F-35. The question is the MiG-35 the smartest, most cost-effective 4.5 Gen fighter in the world? And can this $45 million Russian Wolf steal the market share currently held by the $60 million F-16 Viper and the $85 million Eurofighter Typhoon? Let's break down the evolution, the humiliating failure, and the economic firepower. The original MiG-29 was purely a dogfighter, built in the 1980s to square off with the American F-16. But even as it entered service, the Mikoyan designers knew it had a fatal flaw: no true multi-role capability. Its small internal fuel capacity and limited weapons carriage meant it was tied to the runway, a brilliant sprinter but a terrible marathon runner. The initial fix, the MiG-29M, was reliable and carried more ordnance. But the collapse of the Soviet Union crushed the project. Russia was bankrupt and their military priorities shifted drastically. MiG-29 procurement was halted entirely by 1992. The MiG-29M was dead on the drawing board. It took the military modernization push of the early 2000s to breathe life back into the idea. The two-seat MiG-29M2 was born, eventually cleaned up, and rebranded as the MiG-35 in 2007, specifically to compete for massive international deals. This wasn't just an upgrade. It was a desperate gamble to keep the Mikoyan Design Bureau relevant. The first major test for the MiG-35 was the colossal Indian MRCA tender for 126 jets, the mother of all tenders. It was a true heavyweight fight. Despite Russia's long-standing relationship with India, the MiG-35 lost to the French. Rafale. This failure came down to two brutally honest truths that define modern military procurement. First, supply chain diversification is key. India already operated a massive Russian fleet, including the powerful Su-30 MKI and the carrier-based MiG-29K. Committing another massive order to Russia would have made them almost 100% dependent on Moscow for critical parts and upgrades. A strategic power cannot rely on a single source. Choosing the French Rafale was a calculated move to diversify their defense industrial base and maintain leverage. Second, the risk of unproven tech. Despite the massive upgrades, the early MiG-35 prototypes were still rough around the edges. Many of the brand-new, advanced systems failed to meet India's stringent technical specifications. When you're spending tens of billions, you buy proven performance. India simply wouldn't risk their air defense future on a machine that hadn't yet been fully debugged. This failure, however, forced Russia to perfect the aircraft for its own use. Look past the skin, and the difference between the MiG-35 and its predecessor is a strategic design triumph. This is where the machine truly earns its stripes, the endurance advantage. The MiG-35's max takeoff weight, MTOW, is a massive 6.5 metric tons heavier than the MiG-29, reaching over 24,500 kilograms. This is primarily thanks to the dramatically increased internal fuel capacity, finally giving the Fulcrum the range it always lacked. It is now a true theater fighter, the economic knockout punch. This is the most crucial part. For any military budget, the MiG-29 was notorious for its complexity and high maintenance costs, similar to the much larger Su-27. The MiG-35 fixes this by cutting the operating cost by more than half and extending the engine and airframe lifespan. The original MiG MiG-29 had an airframe life of about 2,500 hours. The MiG-35 has an expected lifespan of a staggering 6,000 flight hours. This makes it an exponentially more affordable machine to operate over its lifetime. Power and survival. It's powered by two RD-33MK turbofans. While the raw thrust didn't change much, the engineers focused ruthlessly on reliability, which is now practically doubled. Furthermore, the fighter inherited the rugged, reinforced landing gear from the carrier-based MiG-29K. This critical feature allows the heavier jet to take off and land safely on short, damaged, or poor-quality runways, a tactical necessity for forward deployment in conflict zones where paved airbases might not exist or have been targeted. The MiG-35 is no longer just a dogfighter. It's a true multi-role platform. The number of hardpoints has been increased to 8, and it can carry the entire range of modern Russian weaponry, including sophisticated air-to-surface, anti-radiation, and anti-ship missiles. Its offensive versatility has been completely transformed. The digital brain. The control system has been fundamentally modernized. It moved from the obsolete manual hydrodynamics of the MiG-29 to a sophisticated quadruple redundant fly-by-wire electronic control system. This is a baseline requirement for modern maneuverability and stability. The game changer, AESA radar. The core technology that elevates the MiG-35 to 4.5 Gen status is the ZUK MAE active electronically scanned array AESA radar. This is critical. AESA provides superior electronic countermeasures immunity, increased detection range, and the ability to track multiple targets without the pilot knowing where the radar is actually pointing. It can simultaneously detect and track up to 30 targets at ranges exceeding 160 kilometers. This gives the MiG-35 the situational awareness and targeting capability previously reserved only for the most expensive Western and Russian fighters. Here is where the MiG-35 fits into the current military landscape, the $100 million gap. The F-35 and Su-57 are the future, but they are incredibly expensive, often costing over $100 million per unit, plus astronomical maintenance costs. The global transition to 5th generation aircraft will take decades. In the meantime, militaries around the world still need reliable, modern, and high-performance fighters that won't bankrupt their defense budgets. Russia's own Su-35 is a fantastic 4.5 Gen jet, but it's heavy, expensive, and specialized. There is a huge global demand for a light, reliable, high-tech, and affordable fighter. This is the MiG-35's domain. At an estimated unit cost of around $45 million, paired with its massively reduced operating expenses, the MiG-35 is strategically positioned to be the ideal replacement for aging MiG-29 and F-16 fleets across Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. These are nations that value the combination of Russian reliability, low maintenance costs, and now, advanced 4.5 generation technology. The aircraft is officially entering service with the Russian aerospace forces, with an initial batch of 24 new aircraft on order. This domestic commitment finally gives the MiG-35 the proven operational status it needs to succeed on the export market. The MiG-35 is a testament to perseverance. It's a fighter that overcame the fall of an empire, an export failure, and years of neglect to become a genuinely capable and economical multi-role platform. It is a machine that prioritizes efficiency and longevity without sacrificing firepower and situational awareness. It's not designed to win against an F-35 in a one-on-one. It's designed to win the global battle for market share against the F-16 and the Typhoon by offering 90% of the performance at 60% of the cost. What do you think? With its AESA radar and low operating cost, has the MiG-35 finally positioned itself to dominate the 4.5 generation export market? Drop your thoughts and analysis in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Fast flights and soft landings.